But yeah, hello you guys. Thanks for attending my little presentation, my little talk. Hi, my name is Lukas. I'm Product Marketing Manager at Seiber. And yeah, who is Seiber? We are Atlassian partner since 2009, so we have a lot and long experience in the Atlassian ecosystem. But we also develop apps for Jira and Confluence as well. If you want to check them out, see us after at the booth. My colleagues are here as well. Like one of them is just like recording right now. But yeah, as I said, we're developing apps for Jira and Confluence. Speaking of Jira and Confluence, the presentation I'm doing today is It's a Match, connecting Jira and Confluence for seamless team collaboration. And yeah, how did I get to this topic? Because I read something. It's always good to start a presentation with huge numbers. And yeah, I've read this quote for Atlassian who said, of Jira customers, 76% of Jira customers who shipped projects faster after adding Confluence as well. Yeah, and that brings me to the question, who of you is using Jira and Confluence together? Maybe you just raise your hand. Oh yeah, perfect, that's a lot of people. So, oh yeah, a very educated audience at this point. So yeah, you guys are all part of the 76%, isn't that great? And like, maybe I'm telling you something that you already know, and maybe you're gonna learn a few more things of how to, yeah, add Jira or yeah, use Jira and Confluence together. And so yeah, what do I think about like connecting both of these Atlassian tools? And I always thought to myself, it's a little bit like if you imagine like you're constructing or you're constructing a house or a project, and you have the construction crew, but they're not using a blueprint and they're not using like a project plan, and then they maybe start building the walls or start building the wiring, and everything is crooked. And yeah, I think that sounds a little bit annoying. And I think always Jira is a little bit like your construction crew. They are handling all the tasks and tracking the process, and Confluence is a little bit more like your project plan and a little bit more like the blueprint that you got to use to make all these projects happen. So yeah, that's why I thought this topic makes a lot of sense. But before I start into the into my presentation, I wanted to ask you guys, like, how many different ways of connecting Confluence and Jira do you think exists? And I would ask you just like to scan the QR code, and then you can give me an answer, and then I'm gonna check out what you guys think. And I hope this is working. Oh yeah, perfect. I see everybody putting out their cell phone, scanning the code. Awesome, great. Okay, sick. Okay, I hope it worked. And now I'm gonna switch and see. Oh yeah, okay, all right. I see. Some people think it's a little bit under 20. Some people, okay, I don't have the exact numbers here, but the kind of correct-ish answer would be 20, because that would be like the number that I found, because I've researched so many different ways of how to connect Jira and Confluence. And I said, okay, 20, and technically even more. But to be honest, there are like a million ways to connect Confluence and Jira if you also consider all the different ways of automation. And the funny thing is, when I started to prepare for this presentation, I felt like a little bit like this grandma, and I researched the name of this meme, and it's called Grandma Finding the Internet. And it's because I felt like this myself, because at the beginning I thought, okay, you can only paste Jira issues into your Confluence instance or something, but there are so many more different ways. And yeah, long story short, these are the different ways that I'm going to cover. So in the first part, we go from Confluence to Jira, and yeah, I'm going to show you how to display Jira content in Confluence, for example, like single issues, dashboards, timelines and charts. And for the second part, how to create Jira content from Confluence, for example, like single issues or multiple issues. And for the second part, we're going to switch it up, and we go from Jira to Confluence, and I'm going to show you different ways how to create Confluence content from Jira, like, for example, Confluence pages with issues and automation. So yeah, let's jump right in. One of the most, I think, basic and maybe no-brainer ways would be just to display single issues in your Confluence instance. And you can just use a smart link for that, as some of you maybe know. you can just copy the link of a Jira issue, paste it into a Confluence instance, and then you can decide, okay, do I want to present just, do I want to show just the link of the Jira issue, or do I want to have the whole issue displayed? But you can also display whole tables, like if you're a project manager and you're planning with your team different projects, and you guys are gathering tasks, and then somebody asks, okay, yeah, like when are we going to do all this stuff? And then you can, maybe if you prepared it, already copy your table of all the different Jira issues and all the different statuses you have in there. But you can not only copy the smart link, you can also use the macro and just go / and Jira issue, and then you can display single Jira issues or Jira tables. And I think, the great thing about this is, of course, you have the live status update. You can see the status of issues, if they're still pending or if they're done. And different filter options for the tables enable for an easy reporting for your project team, for example. But a few things that can be tricky is, like, using the macro search for a specific issue can be a bit tricky when you do not know like the exact issue you're looking for, and for complex table filters you would need some JQL knowledge. And but you can not only display single issues with smart links, but also dashboards. This is like a whole dashboard link that I just took from my Jira instance and that I did put into Confluence, and like the whole dashboard was displaying, like, for example, here, like a service desk dashboard where I see all the different issues, or maybe the different IT support issues and the different statuses, like medium, low, critical, and informational and stuff. And I can do this with a smart link, or I just take like one single dashboard statistic. For example, here it is the workload of my colleagues, and I just copy the link of this specific dashboard statistic and can paste this in Confluence as well. This is all possible as well via smart link. But if I want to do like a specific issue statistic or a dashboard statistic, I can just use the / issue statistics macro, and then I can just type in my different filters, like, for example, select a project and set your own preferred filters. For example, this is once again work distribution. Here I can see, okay, Emma has the most work to do right now. And then I can just create my own little dashboard statistics in Confluence as well. And what are the pros? The cool thing is, you can gather all the metrics in one place. Of course, gather all the knowledge in Confluence, for example. And and you can share knowledge and progress and capacities, or the workload across teams, and share it for cross-team collaboration as well. And what I experienced, these dashboard statistics sometimes may load a little bit slowly. That's a little bit of a bummer. And and elaborate issue statistics, if you want to use the macro, is a little bit tricky to set up, to like really set the filters that a nice statistic like this one maybe is gonna pop up. But you can not only display dashboards, you can also do timelines with a smart link. You can just, of course, go to your timeline, copy paste it into your Confluence instance, and then you can show, for example, deadlines for sprints or product launches, and share this with your team as well. And you can not only do this with a smart link, you can of course as well do this with the Jira, the /Jira timeline macro, and have this displayed into your Confluence instance as well. And the great thing is you can pretty fast share project milestones, just like I explained right now, or it's super good to staying up to date on project progress. And but the problem is that I experience with these timelines, sometimes they're a little bit cut off. It depends a little bit on how they will load in your instance as well. And I'm going back from displaying stuff in your Confluence instance to creating stuff. And sometimes maybe some of you notice when you're in Confluence and you have a page created and you hover over something, or you highlight something, Confluence is giving you different options. One of these options is create an issue. And you can now use this as well with Rovo AI. So when you are creating a page and you're hovering or you're highlighting the text, and then you can create an issue. And if you have the laser, it's working perfect. And if you have this here toggled, use AI to generate summary and description, then the Rovo AI is going to add a description and the summary automatically, just based on the content that you have from the highlighted text. For example, here I have a meeting note from planning of a barbecue, and then you say, okay, oh my God, please tell Mirinda to bring her garlic guacamole. and then I created an issue of this automatically, and then, yeah. The summary is exactly request Mirinda to bring the garlic guacamole, and it worked perfectly. But yeah, when creating these issues from Confluence as well, you can also define like the status, the priority, assignee, due date, and so on and so on. But you can not only create single issues, you can also create multiple issues. But it's a little bit tricky since this requires a little bit of formatting, because you have to give the table that you are creating a summary and a description. And then when you formatted your Confluence table, you can do the same thing. You just highlight the text, and then it's going to pop up that you not only can create single issues, you can also create multiple issues. And then you can create these multiple issues, toggle the Rovo AI, it's going to give it a summary and a description, hopefully like one that makes sense. And then you can create these issues, and if you reload the page, all these issues are going to be linked down in the different, under the summaries. It's great, but it's a little bit error prone. It does not always like work super good. At least in my experience. So what I think is the good thing about using this feature of connecting Jira and Confluence, it's super fast and efficient. Like if you can go super fast from idea to task, like when you are in your meeting note and you think, okay, Miranda needs to bring guacamole, you can just, yeah, okay, create a task. And yeah, you do not need switch apps, but as I said, it's a little bit error prone. Sometimes the field mappings do not work, even though you give it a summary and a description. And yeah, it's since it is still a little bit clunky, it requires your team to validate every time if the issue is really correct. And maybe you want to check it one more time. But yeah, but it is working, and I think it's definitely improving. So yeah, maybe give it a try. And yeah. As I said, we are Seiber, we are developing some apps, and of course I did smuggle one of them in my presentation, and one of this is to create standard Jira issues with viable issues. So we just had it that we could create Jira issues with the Rovo AI support, but you can also create customizable issue buttons to have like standard issues created. So you build just repeatable workflows for the ticket creation in Confluence, basically by adding this button and then standardizing the issue creation, and then you just have to click the button, and then the issue is created. It's super easy. And we have one page report macro that's gonna show you all the issues that are created by the page, so you have them all in a list down there. And yeah, how is this working? You basically pre-configure these fields, and then you can just say, okay, I want to have this button that I want to put on the Confluence page for creating issues for this project, for this issue type with this priority. And you can also put in there like labels and descriptions and stuff, and then you just save this button, and then you can basically, when you click the button, you can see, okay, now I'm going to create an issue in this project with this description. And yeah, it's for some of our customers, it's coming super handy for like meeting note pages where you just want to create standardized issues, or project home pages where you want to have like the same type of issues created always in the same space. So yeah, it's just giving the people a little bit more of like context information. And yeah, the great thing is, it's available for cloud and data center. Now I had a chance to talk to some of you, and a lot of people are still on data center. And I think it's super cool that it is consistent with the pre-designed issue fields, like it's standardized and consistent. And with the reports available, you can see which all the different issues are created from the page. And it's not limited to any admin permissions like automations would be, for example. But it has some limited fields, of course. You cannot like have all these different custom fields in the issue pre-defined or something. But yeah, speaking of automation or like admin permissions, you can also, of course, create Jira issues with Confluence automation. And like one of the easiest automations that I could come up with is when I thought, okay, how about when creating a task, just like here, a task for Lukas would be automatically also created in Jira. So I set up this automation rule, and I said, okay, when task created, then create a new task for in this specific project. And yeah, this was like one of the most basic, of course, automations that you could think of. But there are, of course, like maybe there are many different ways of creating Confluence automations and create Jira issues from Confluence as well. And yeah, I think with automations, it's super cool that it's super versatile. Like you have like endless options for automations basically, but it is a little bit error prone, and you have limited automations when you do not have like an enterprise plan. And yeah, and one pro as well is that space admins can set up Confluence automations, so you do not have like any bottlenecks. You do not have to ask like a specific admin when you are a space admin as well. And yeah, that was part one. I showed you how to display Jira content in Confluence and how to create Jira content from Confluence. And now we're going to jump over. We switch it up to part two, how to create Confluence content from Jira. And yeah, the first thing, of course, that you can do, I think sometimes it's a little bit hidden, to be honest. Like people that start in Confluence or Jira, when you are creating a Jira ticket, and you just have this little this little plus button there, and when you click it, you can see, okay, there are like many different things I can do. For example, like adding a new Loom video or existing Loom video now that this is new with Atlassian. But of course, you can also add existing Confluence content or create a new page right away from your Jira issue. And the cool thing is, which I didn't know before, honestly, is that if you put the Jira issue into full screen and you add a new Confluence page, and then you have this sweet side-by-side view where you can just copy and paste the content from left to right from your Jira issue directly into the Confluence page that you just created by your Jira issue. And yeah, the cool thing is you have like the live editing. You just created the Confluence page right away. And it's easier to copy and paste if you are choosing to copy and paste. Of course, like copy pasting is maybe not the most efficient way to work, but sometimes maybe that's just the fastest thing that you can come up with. And yeah, when you created this Confluence page from the Jira ticket, it gets automatically linked in your Jira ticket, so the content stays linked automatically, and that's the great thing about it. But yeah, as I said, maybe it's not the most efficient way. Maybe, yeah, it's a little bit of a manual process, and the content is not automatically added. You have to like copy paste it. And of course, I just was talking about the automations from Confluence to Jira, and now we're gonna switch it up. Of course, you can do this as well from Jira, and the most basic and easiest automation that I could come up with is like when issue transitioned from different status, from in progress to resolved in this case. I don't know if you even can read it from here, but then create a space, a page in Confluence. And of course, to set this up, you set the when condition and then the then condition, and select the project and issue type that you would have this applicable for, would I say. But the great thing is, automations are awesome, but they're like maybe sometimes a little bit error prone. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. At least that was my experience. So if there are like Jira experts and admins here, and maybe you wanna afterwards come to our booth and show me what I did wrong, we can look at my automations together. Because here in the audit log you can see I did this very basic automation from Jira to Confluence, and it didn't work. So yeah. Sometimes automations are good, but sometimes you have to really see, okay, where is the bug? And yeah, I'm just showing this out of transparency reasons, because I think, yeah, not every time everything is working. And yeah, the great thing is, of course, as I said, for automations, they're very versatile, like with endless options for automations. And there are, of course, less manual effort when they work, since they can sometimes be a little bit error prone. And of course, if you do not have like a special plan there, you have the limited automations. But you cannot also not only create Confluence pages from Jira with the automations, you can also do this with AutoPage, which is an app we created as well. And there you can achieve basically this side-by-side view that I just showed you, but I do not have to manually copy and paste the content from the Jira issue to the Confluence page. Once this is all set up, it all happens basically automatically. So yeah, for example, here is a bug ticket where I have like information in there like the steps to reproduce, the expected behavior, the actual behavior, everything that like somebody would put in their bug ticket. And then I did set this up with AutoPage that I would choose a trigger and say, okay, when the issue is created or when the issue is updated, I can just do this easily by drop-down menus. And then I choose the project and the issue type, of course, and then a Confluence template, and then the bug page would be automatically created. And then I create the Jira issue, fill it with information, and it is automatically created with all the different content from the Jira issue. And the great thing is when you can see it, oh wait, I have the laser. I'm always forgetting about the laser. Here, you can see it's automatically linked right there. It's great for companies that just want to, save some work and do save some work in documentation efforts, and that do not want to have so many manual documentation from Jira and Confluence. And yeah, it's as well available for cloud and data center. And the content is live in sync. If you change something in Jira, it's going to be changed in Confluence as well. And yeah, you have basically, when this is all set up, fully automated documentation from Jira to Confluence. And you can also like just display certain Jira fields. If there's something from the bug ticket that you just want to show to certain Jira user groups, you can definitely set that up. But as well, like with the app that I was talking before, like with viable issues, you have some limited fields. But if you're trying this app, maybe, and you approach us and you say, hey, I would really love to have this field displayed, we can definitely make this happen. And yeah, to round it up a little bit about all these different ways to connect Jira and Confluence, I think the core integration benefits are, of course, you have the seamless integration of these different these two different Atlassian tools, because I've seen some people like copy pasting content around from like Google Docs or Notion or SharePoint, and as we can see, yeah, the stuff that you put in Jira and vice versa, it's all live in sync, and I think yeah, that's just great. And yeah, the second thing I showed you, like all the automations, or like when you want to use an automation or you want to use a third-party app, you definitely reduce manual work. Once an automation or an app is set up, you can just avoid effort or documentation effort and all this kind of stuff. And yeah, the next one is, of course, everybody is just staying up to date. As I said, everything is live in sync, like issues and tables. They are all live updated once you did put them in Confluence, for example. And I think one of the most important last benefits is just like you promote team collaboration. You don't always have everything maybe available for everybody in a certain Jira project. Sometimes it's cool to have centralized knowledge bases and building knowledge sharing in a Confluence page that you can share easily right away. But yeah, which brings me a little bit to the end of the presentation. I hope there was a few interesting things for you guys. And yeah, I'm just now a little bit curious, like which one of these ways would you try with your team? Like maybe I'm just giving the question back to you guys. And I can hear silence. All right. All right. Yeah, but maybe if you have something to share, if you have any more questions or whatever, then yeah, feel free to ask them now or come to our booth. And yeah, then I can only just say thank you guys so much, and yeah, thanks for having us in your beautiful city, Warsaw.